Let's talk about it with our featured guest of the morning. He's Jeff Hall, Senior Financial Advisor at Manulife Wealth. Jeff, first of all, thanks a lot for coming in, as always.
My pleasure.
What do you make of this? Analysts rushing to slash their earnings forecast for Q1, the quarter that we're in right now, or the quarter that is being reported right now. Coming into this quarter, the consensus was growth of about 11.5% for S&P 500 companies. That's now been essentially cut in half as analysts scramble to reduce their forecast. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a lot of people, protecting their own reputations. They want to be a little bit careful because there's a lot of unknowns floating around out there. I think a lot of analysts feel like they're playing dodgeball right now with, Trump doing the hokey pokey where he's got tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on, tariffs off. And because of that, when you got a lot of fog on the road, just like if you and I were driving, when you got a lot of fog on the road, we got to pump the brakes and slow things down just to navigate the road ahead. So it doesn't surprise me to see them actually pull back a little bit on that while they still have too much fog on the runway.
Do you believe the earnings outlook for U.S. companies is that bleak?
I wouldn't say it's that bleak. I think we're going to go through like a major hiccup. Trump's tariffs are not going to be necessarily permanent for most countries, but I don't know how he's going to negotiate 70 countries in the 90 days he gave himself. That's not a long time to reorder the world's kind of trade structure. Again, might be another extension after that, but it's going to be interesting to watch.
What will you be listening for when companies report, and in particular when they provide forecasts or guidance?
I'm more interested in the forecast and guidance because they're kind of entering uncharted territory that for most people know it will be temporary. So rearview mirror doesn't matter because rearview mirror didn't involve crazy tariffs on 70 countries, including an island with penguins and all the other stuff going on. So I think moving forward, just getting a sense of companies, but also allows us a little further down the road to see which companies were on the ball and were very truthful in what they thought was going to happen and whether they were more measured or not in their commentary.
Okay, as always, you bring us some interesting commentary and views, and one view you've got is that Donald Trump has no longer than 8 months to turn some of this economic data around. He's got to bring inflation down, you believe, in about 8 months or so. Rates in the bond market have got to fall within 8 months or so. And I guess perhaps most importantly to our viewers, the stock market swoon that we've seen, the sell-off we've seen, has got to be reversed within 8 months' time.
Yeah, one of the great things we can rely on with Trump is his ego. And he wants to go down as one of the best presidents of all time. So he's going to enact all this change, almost a decade worth of change. He's trying to do this all in 6 to 8 months, possibly even less. But there's a reason why he's on the clock, we call it. And that's because, as you know, the Senate comes up for elections every 6 years, the White House every 4, but the House is every 2 years. And the U.S. is usually an election cycle. Almost as soon as a lot of these individuals in the House get elected, they're almost back into a re-election phase because it's so quick. And as you know, Americans, unlike Canadians, have this 1 year run up, almost a tailgate party up to any election.
Right.
So if he does not change, like you said there, lower interest rates, make sure the economy is humming along, people feel wealthy, a little more money in their pockets, he's going to lose the House. And if he loses the House, the last 2 years of his presidency will be rife with more legal battles. The purse strings will be cut off. So he's going to be kind of neutered for the last 2 years. So for him to have his full 4 years, he's going to make sure everybody's happy, especially independent voters in America.
So what does that mean to his tariff policy? Does he step down in a big way, likely declaring victory as he does it?
Well, one thing about Trump, he's demonstrated not just when he was president the first time, he's doing it this time, and throughout his lifetime, is, and from people that I know that know him, say he's actually a fairly good listener, believe it or not. And if he thinks he's losing on a topic or losing in the polls, he will pivot. So if he starts to see things dragging out and it's causing him a lot of grief and it's looking like that destination of that midterm election coming up is going to be a fail, he'll start pivoting a little bit early that way. And he can. Because again, this whole self-inflicted wound of tariffs that came, because he decided to make it happen, he can also make it unhappen, which is part of that fog on the road.
He's got to make it unhappen in a way that looks like a win for him, though, correct?
Yeah, he's a master of turning candy coating the turd, I call it. He's always got a way to make things look like he's causing a win. But at the same time, he can also look like there's an old saying I have, that if Trump wants your finger, he's going to ask for your arm. And then he just takes your finger up. He's like, oh, thank God he just took my finger, right? So this is kind of his way of negotiating, setting the table in his negotiations. But he has that ability. He caused this self-inflicted wound. He can also just take it off. But it's part of his playbook is keep everybody else off balance, right? That's just kind of his technique. So we'll have to see what he's up to next. But the good thing is he's in the press 30 minutes a day or more. He loves the camera, so he can't stay away from it. And he's constantly showing his cards. I'd love to play poker with someone that just shows their cards all the time. So it's going to be interesting.
So does the S&P 500 finish the year higher?
if he enacts everything he wants to enact, doesn't bruise up and beat up too many trade relationships, the SB has a great chance to have a good year overall. But as I said a number of months ago, even throughout the show many times, the first half of this year is going to be full of speed bumps and air pockets and turbulence as Trump tries to enact multiple change. It's like we're all watching NHL playoff hockey now. It's almost like he went to the opponent's bench, dropped the mitts, and decided to take on everybody on the other bench at the same time. He could have maybe done this in a more measured way. As much as he's smart on some things and not on others, I see he's a barbarian in a suit and a man that doesn't have a lot of elegance, and he's got a high pain threshold. A pain threshold much higher than others, including investors often. So people have to put on a seatbelt, have a plan, work their plan, and pay attention because he's always showing his cards.
That's Jeff Hall on the tariff situation and where he thinks Donald Trump is going with it. Up next, Jeff will talk to us about investing ideas, including specific stocks that he considers to be Teflon in the